I love that intro so much.
I love that so much. Yeah, it's like a perfect length of fall, and then just a nice splat sound. Just take us right in.
It's
Love
so
it.
good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a news episode of GeekVerse podcast. I'm one of your hosts. Did you watch Daredevil? Taylor Field.
I am the other host, the man without fear, Kirklin Panther.
Yes, and we got some juicy topics to talk about today. Before we get to that, a couple of plugs. You can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter. GeekVerse on our Facebook. And be sure to check us out on the Patreon because you can get ad-free, exclusive, early episodes. What's going on here? What's going on?
New challenger approaches.
New challenger. I thought it was
hiding in the shadows.
Travis, actually.
It is always me,
No!
motherfuckers. I used the Chris Balga cover. No, I had to come on here quickly.
We got a trash talk here. We got some things to say.
Both gonna shit on Travis here.
What are you gonna shit on me for? I'm gonna shit on you because you completely. I see you on Facebook. You ignore my messages. For the audio listeners, I promote this to go live at 6 p.m., which is fine. They go a little later, but Taylor's like, "Oh yeah, Halo will be done for sure at 6." I could have changed it. I could no, for sure at 6. And then I keep going. And then Chris messaged me. He's like, "Are you guys going live or anything?" I'm like, "Oh, they should be." I look. It says streaming at 7:10. It's like 7:30. You guys go live, and then I message Taylor. I'm like, "Oh, what happened at 6?" He just ignores me. I know he's online. I know he's ignoring me because he feels like he's in trouble. And as I said to Chris Balga, if I ever die, GV's gonna be in crumbles. But yeah, what is your shit, huh? What's your shit?
Well, first of all, we almost did like a 2-hour review for the Halo finale, so that definitely set us back.
Solid
That's
content.
not my fault.
I didn't know you were setting the room
Should
up
be.
though for the newscast.
I always set up the room. You could have told me.
You asked me like when are you gonna be done, and I'm like, oh yeah, 6 should be good. And then I went in, I'm like, oh, he actually set the room because I went to make it. I'm like, oh, I gotta keep bumping the time back. And what was your shitting on, Kirklin? You had some things.
Yeah, this guy is messaging me like I owe him something. Like, oh, where's my multiverses code? I've been waiting for this all day.
Okay.
It's like, okay, if you want it that badly, you should have gone on the first beta, motherfucker.
Well,
Dylan gave me shit too. Dylan has his code.
No,
yeah,
because
like
that's
Dylan.
Again, to tell people the multiverse beta is out, and then Clay, for once in my life, Clay is actually a good guy. Maybe I'll have to reconsider my relationship /feud with Clay and fucking replace him with Kirkland, or replace Kirkland Panther with him. They get the multiverse beta. It's 2 codes, and I'm waiting all day. I'm like, okay, I'm at home, but I'll let Kirkland wait. And then Dylan's like, oh, I got the codes, can't wait to play, but I'm doing it tomorrow. So you got Dylan, this fucker who's not playing until tomorrow. I could have jumped in there, and that means Kirkland has sent Dylan the code, not me. Are you fucking kidding me here? Oh my God.
He was wrangling me at the start of the Halo review. He's like, "Hey, I've been waiting for my multiverses."
He was.
Neither of you
should.
messaged me directly
I'm
and been
Team
like,
Dylan
"Hey,
on this
when
one.
you get a chance, send me that code." No, it's just like, "Where has this been? I've been waiting for hours." Like as if I owe you. Come on.
You might, Clay. You might need to give me a code, but no, Kirkland did send it. This is, not only is it a friendship thing. We're a small business. We're supposed to share these things now. I know he's hiding it over here. He's blah 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 blah.
Treat me some like I'm some intern or something. Like, oh, this guy doesn't have my codes for me. It's like, Jesus, come on, back off a second. Been home for like 20 minutes watching Halo, jumping right into a review, into a follow-up newscast, and I have to get.
Did you eat dinner
multiverses
before
guys.
the Halo thing?
During.
Barely, yeah.
That's
I
why
had
it
to
took
get
him so
codes.
long, because his mouth's so small. He can't finish dinner before it. At least Taylor can chomp. All right, I'm gonna go see, man. You guys have a good cast.
Goodbye, Chris Balga from Earth 838 or whatever universe he's from. Get this guy out of here. I don't want to see that crotch anymore.
Oh my goodness, what a rant! It definitely fooled me. Like I really did think it was Travis,
fool me,
but
yeah.
like shit.
Oh, you did think? Yeah. I was like, oh, Chris just doesn't have his cam on. What's going on here?
Yeah. Would have been more pleasant if it was Chris.
It would have been more pleasant, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel all riled up now. I'm sweaty. I'm ready for action.
Yeah. I'm back in the Halo world now. Go check out that review.
Absolutely.
Speaking of like content, what else do we got popping off, Kirkland? What do you got brewing?
I mean, as the other, it wasn't Chris. As Travis just mentioned, he's going to see Men right now. Him and Dylan are going to be dropping a nice review for that. Sometime this weekend. Tune in at some point. Keep an eye on your feeds. They'll be dropping a review for that. Nice 824 film. We got, what do we got? We got Jurassic Park retro, I think, going on right now. I don't know. It's been such a busy week of content, just constantly putting stuff out there. We just finished Halo review, as Taylor was mentioning. I feel like we're always just doing a review. Like the downtimes that we're not doing reviews for shows, it's just a weird time, Like it's not like I'm feeling it's like I'm missing something. I kind of like, you know, some extra free time here and there, but like it's just a little different. I feel like maybe I'm just getting too used to these reviews, especially, you know, we just did the Moon Knight reviews. All of those are up on the feed, so go check out that if you're watching the show for that. But yeah, those reviews, whenever we're in between moment, which we are technically right now, we just recorded the last Halo review. Leading up, we got Obi-Wan coming up soon. But yeah, I'm rambling. Plethora of content. Keep an eye on those feeds, and you'll never miss anything. Go check out our Patreon. I guess Taylor, you already mentioned that. I got thrown off by the fake Chris Valga coming in here. I'm off my game now. Let's just go unlive and then try this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
First ever 5-minute cast.
Yeah, we're starting fresh tomorrow. Tune in then. Oh, well, speaking of Obi-Wan Kirklin, Star Wars Celebration is coming up here very, very quickly at the end of this month. That's very exciting. It's one of the best times of the year because we're going to get, hopefully, a whole plethora of content. But of this content, I'm curious to know, do you think we're going to see any new shows announced?
At Star Wars Celebration, yes. End of the month, big event, big Star Wars time. I feel like we better get some new announcement. You know, in our previous newscast, we were bringing up some wild Kathleen Kennedy quotes. And it's so weird because I feel like Travis was in this situation where he was fairly just putting Star Wars in a category that wasn't the most positive category, and it was rightfully so, of just like what's been going on, their track record. Those Kathleen Kennedy comments that we went over on our previous episode really just like kind of shifted me in a direction where I thought like maybe I wasn't at the most peak for like my Star Wars hype or just in love with the Star Wars universe. But I wasn't in like the negative sense yet. I think I was still somewhere in the neutral zone. But the latest comments, and then even just where we are right now, after seeing Boba Fett the Book of Boba, I'm in a weird place for Star Wars where I love it, but I don't want to say like I'm expecting less, but I feel like my expectations are just lower than they were, which is always a bad thing, especially with something that's maybe I should rephrase it. It's not always a bad thing, but I think it's a bad thing when it's something like Star Wars. That's just such a established franchise, billions of dollar, franchise, made multiple movies, $1 billion each, and I feel like now I'm not really expecting anything like super exciting announced, but I still hope it does, I guess. Now what that would be, I don't know, because everything that they've announced already, like we haven't even really gotten much from that, right? So if they're announcing new things beyond that, I think if it's something exciting, I won't lie to myself. I'll probably get a little bit giddy and excited about that, but still I'll be like, what the fuck happened to this? Like weren't we supposed to get more information on this Feige project that's just in the works? You know, it's been stated Rian Johnson's trilogy has just been on halt for a while, I guess. Well, he's focusing on Knives Out. It's probably gonna be like 9 movies of those until Netflix is done with them. But yeah, I don't know. Like at this point, I feel like on paper it would make sense that they do announce something because it's just such a big event. But I don't know. I'm not really expecting them to. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I don't know. Like, because I guess I can ask you this question. Would you prefer them to announce something new or just give us information about things that they've already announced? Because they've already announced some really exciting things, right? With the Acolyte show, which I'm sure we'll get something about that. That one doesn't seem to be as sketchy as some of the other projects that they announced years ago.
Yeah, Acolyte has a strong foothold, I'd say. It's funny because if they announce anything new, and I don't doubt it, they're going to announce something.
Yeah, you don't. You think for sure they're going to do it?
I think for sure they're going to announce something, and I just think at the end of the day, it's I don't know. It's like empty promises on top. It's like me saying like, Kirklin, it's a surefire bet if you bet on horse number 360, it's going to win you $1 million. This is a very loose equivalency here. It's going to win you $1 million. And I'm like, oh, but you know what? Like on top of that, it's also going to rain on this day. I guarantee it. Like it's just a whole bunch of like real big gambles, I feel like at this point with Disney. And yeah, like they've announced so much good content at first. Like I remember right out of the gate a few years ago when Disney started really getting into the Star Wars grind with episode 7. It was like, hey, we're doing like alternating years with movies. We're going to be doing a few years after, we're going to be doing Disney Plus like TV shows and stuff like that. When they announced that, like, it just seemed prime to be a Star Wars fan, because it was like, hey, this year Star Wars, next year is an anthology film, next year is another trilogy film, next year anthology, so forth, so forth. Then another like set of trilogy films with Ryan Johnson, whatever, in this time period. Like, it was great. It was awesome. And now it's like, what's really going on? You're announcing new things on top of things that have been announced, but are not getting any speed in their sales, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, like
I
Chris
agree.
says here. Sorry. Can we
No,
believe
yeah.
any movie news at this point until we see actual production underway? I mean, he's totally right.
No, yeah, I agree. Sure. You didn't read that as nicely. There was a question mark in there. He actually asked a question. He didn't make a statement
yeah,
there.
there's a
Can we
question mark.
believe any movie news at this point? You're not quite Ron Burgundy where you read it exactly as it's written, but still, you got the message across. But he asked, can we believe any movie news at this point until we see actual production underway? And I don't think we can, honestly, because what you just laid out, like that 2019, was that the big announcement year when they actually showed off all these things?
No, because that was just Rise of Skywalker, right? Or do you mean like at their D23 thing with all the
Yeah.
TV shows and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember the year specifically, but whatever event that was, like, yeah, it felt like Christmas morning to be like a Star Wars fan, like just seeing all these things. And at the time, I don't even want to say like I was naive to think it, because I don't think if you thought seeing these projects and being like, are they really going to happen? I don't think it's on like, here I'm speaking for myself, but I don't. 2020 Investor Day.
That's
what it
right.
says.
That's
There you go.
Bob's shows. That's Bob's.
So I don't think it should be on like me or like you or just a general audience or viewer of event like that, of thinking like, is this really going to happen? Like, it should be on the studio to actually be like, everything we just showed, like, don't worry, it's actually a project. We're not just pulling your leg, or like this is like an idea board or something like that. Like, they're not just scratching ideas for possible projects. Like, I think at an event like that, when they're showing off these things, like, they should be pretty much set in stone. I understand that's not the easiest thing to do because life happens. Maybe a life event happens and someone has to drop out from a project, which completely kills it. Definitely, I completely understand that. But still, I think if this is becoming like a more regular thing, where especially behind Star Wars, where they announce these things and then just slips through the cracks, and like, let's say they announce 7 projects and 3 of them actually happen. Like, I think that's okay. I get 3 projects, which is nice, but still, on the other side of it, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, you announced 7 and not even half of them like make it through. Like, that's on the studio and like those people that are like fucking that up, honestly, in my eyes, because you're setting expectations of, we're getting this Star Wars content, and then it just, for whatever reason, doesn't happen. And like I said, like, if it's 6 out of the 7 projects actually happen, I think that's an acceptable ratio. Do you have anything to add on that, or agree with me, disagree?
No, I think you're pretty spot on. Like, life things do happen, and it pulls these people attached to these projects out, and it crashes and burns these projects, and it's a shame. But I do think that if you want to release and unveil, like, hey, we got 10 projects all at once, it's a bold strategy that works for Marvel because they have a very consistent timeline and they have strong independent teams working on each different project. Whereas with Star Wars, like, they have good minds behind it, but if you announce 10 and you get 8 out of the 10, then that's definitely a success. A couple delays here and there, and that's usually the Marvel trajectory, I feel like. But with Star Wars, it's usually like, hey, we have 10 announced and then 1 comes out and 9 have been delayed or pushed back, or we have a Rangers of the Republic, which is completely canceled or something like that. Or the Game of Thrones showrunners are working on trilogy no more, just stuff like that. Like,
Exactly.
Feige rumors are working on a movie, no, not true, and then it just openly comes out, yeah, excited to have this talent on the Star Wars film. It's just weird shit, very weird shit.
Yeah, and there's many different factors on why, let's just say, a random project doesn't happen or certain promises don't actually come to fruition. But I really feel, especially after our last cast that we had, just dissecting some of the Kathleen Kennedy comments about Solo 2, like at the end of the day, it's up to that individual, right? It's like any good or bad thing, I think should at least somehow have something to do with the head honcho of the company, which is Kathleen Kennedy. She's the head of Lucasfilm. Like, and I think just recently with some things that might have been getting canceled or pushed back, or just, you know, weird comments about like how we can never, it's impossible to recast, or sorry, let me actually get that right. Nearly impossible to recast an OG member of whatever Star Wars something. Like, it's just, I feel like she's not taking full blame about certain things, and she like pushes it on certain individuals. And again, I haven't been fully invested in like dissecting every single one of her interviews, but like that's just what I'm feeling from it. And it just kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth. So like all these Star Wars news now, like for me personally, like it kind of has an asterisk until like what Chris said, where like, am I actually going to see the production started or something like this? Like it's just words, or it's just images on a board that says this project is happening. Like, fuck, I could do that. I could do that and push it up. The difference is I don't represent like billions of dollars worth of a $1 billion company, right? Like Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny how we kind of just went on this tangent. It's like part 2 of our Kathleen Kennedy discussion from last episode, but reeling it back to our main question of just revolving around the Star Wars Celebration Day thing is like, I think I just have some possible worries about the whole event, or maybe certain announcements that'll come out, because like, does it mean much if we don't actually see these projects? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic. I'm a little fired up, you know. We just did Halo review, and also just riding on my negative thoughts from last newscast that we did revolving around those comments. But I'm gonna try and stay optimistic, I guess, especially if some like, fuck, you know me, because I'm talking tough talk right now. But like, if they just say like something like Darth Bane or something, I see that on screen, you know, I'm gonna be just juicing all over the place. But yeah, I hope I answered that question. I don't even, what was the original question? Oh, any new projects?
Any new projects?
Yeah. But yeah,
what we got?
Embrace the dark.
Embrace the dark side, Kirklin.
It happens easier than you think, Chris.
I've noticed that lots of these Star Wars shows and movies never have release dates. So Marvel announces the dates years in advance and mostly hits them. Yeah, that's true. I think that kind of adds to just this vote of no confidence in Kathleen Kennedy, right? She's Chancellor of Valorum right now, and Palpatine's whispering into Jon Favreau's ear, like, let's get this underway.
Yeah, and like adding on to that comment that he made of, I feel like even if something gets delayed, like a Marvel movie, I guess I was gonna pull an example. What was the last one? Yeah, Black Panther. There you go. Like, oh, that's actually a really good example, because that has had so many like issues outside, like so many different factors on why that would have been pushed back, but they still are committing to at least like their release date. Again, it hasn't come out yet, so it is possible that something moves, but still, like, it's pretty damn close to the target of when they initially announced like that release date. Whereas, like as Bub said, like for the Star Wars content, it's just colorful images on screen where it's like, this is just something that's gonna be happening sometime, maybe in a galaxy far, far away. Like it's strange. It's hard to take their word for it in that sense, and maybe, I don't know, it's easier to point to one person, but for me, like, is that the head of the company's position to like take fault for that? I feel like at least a little bit. I don't know.
If your job is to be approving these parts of this franchise, different mediums, shows, TV shows, movies, whatever, and you are failing at that, I think, yeah, it's a representation of yourself and how you're leading this part of the company for sure. Because she's supposed to generate sales at the end of the day, and she's generating
profits. That's like
the name of the game.
The whole point of a business, right? So it's a media business, but still it's the same thing. They have to be making income.
And like, if that's the case, like, I think the past couple of years, obviously we know we have COVID, and that's definitely a setback, but they picked up such steam when they announced these shows, and they had that conference of just Acolyte and Obi-Wan and all these different things. Like, it really picked up steam, and then there's just these lulls where like she's not bringing in a lot of profits wise. And yeah, you can totally rely on you wouldn't want to solely rely on the likes of like Disney Plus for your profits. I think movie theaters will always be able to kind of hold that prominent dominating factor of just like, here's a weekend where you just made $300 million. Like, that's a pretty good weekend. So when you're dealing with Disney Plus, you're still bringing in profits, but how long will that last you for? Like, again, you have Mando season 1, season 2. That was great. It was a huge boost, and they obviously made money from that. But then you have something like Book of Boba Fett, which kind of is a little bit of a setback. And you imagine if Obi-Wan doesn't pan out, that'll be a huge kick to the curb for them. So I hope that they just stop getting deterred. They stick to these things, and Kathleen Kennedy can commit to these projects and really just kind of give more of her energy into keeping them alive so that Star Wars can continue to make a profit and continue to, you know, fly high in stocks and all that jazz, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it is like the thing with Star Wars is like, I feel like it's, especially looking at those movies, like say what you will about the quality of the movies, like The Rise of Skywalker, like that's still $1 billion movie. So like they are still making profits there. I think the criteria for judging success though, it shouldn't just be that. Because like if you're putting out $1 billion movie, but it's got like a solid 50-ish% on Rotten Tomatoes and like really divides the fan base, which I guess that'll happen any fucking time, especially with a fan base like Star Wars is just so big that there's always going to be complaints and just toxic fan base niches amongst those groups. But yeah, like I think just because the big movies are making the big bucks, like it's not enough, especially if you want to be an evolving business, an evolving company, or just like also evolving what Star Wars is, like that whole universe. Like it's got to be, it can't just be static. They've introduced some new things, but I think it's just, it all comes down to like personally for me, like where they are right now, because I haven't seen all these new shows that are out. Like it just seems like they kind of need a change in leadership of direction, and maybe just fresh eyes that'll come to the situation and like be able to just bring in unique ideas. And it's not just Kathleen Kennedy, like it's not just her that are doing this, but like I don't know. Do you think that like, it could be a more positive over negative thing if they switch out Kathleen Kennedy, or is it? I know it's risky because you have someone that has an insane resume. Like she's one of the greatest producers in like film. Like her resume is insane, what she's been a part of. But still, like, do they make a risk of like swapping someone out like that and bringing a whole new leadership team to something like that? It's tough because Star Wars is such an important thing and like one of Disney's biggest. Like they spent so much money for it, and it's generating so much revenue. Is it worth that risk of switching them out? If you have someone that's putting out at least like things to get us money, I don't know.
I think I'm gonna quote Harvey Dent here: "You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain." And I think I think that this, again, a little bit of a paraphrase here. I think that it's not 100% relatable. Like, I don't want anyone to die. God, Jesus Christ. But what I'm implying with that is that I think that she has done such a fantastic job up till recent points in time. And now that she's in this position, like in my experience and what I've seen and witnessed, a lot of the times with people, when they help build something and create something, and after a certain time, they eventually get to a point where they think that they're still helping and actually making this thrive, but they're creating more problems than they are solutions. And you need to take what you have, teach it to a next generation, a next lineage of people that can do what you can do and have new ideas and understand and are bringing this whole new fresh wave. And I think that's what she needs to do. I really, really do. I think that she needs to take what she's learned. I think she needs to just literally like not leave. I mean, you can move into like another consulting position or something. Like give the mantle to another individual who has the mindset for this. I think that there's a lot of other people out there that could go into this position, could help really just start pumping out this content and just really start getting us going. I mean, I know Marvel was kind of all over the place, but like look at where Marvel was before Kevin Feige like started coming into the picture and just like, hey, let's get into this.
There was Marvel before Kevin Feige?
Yeah, who would have thunk, right?
It's
But
hard
I
to
mean,
even imagine that at
it
this
is
point.
hard. It's very hard. But I mean, that's the harsh reality of it. So I just think that she should stay on as a consultant. She has a lot of experience and a lot of valuable insight and knowledge. And especially when it does come to Star Wars, she is a valuable factor in that and component in that wheel. So she can offer that help to someone else who is capable of really delivering and not kind of fumbling with how they're trying to explain things and go back on their words with things and just create a ruckus, because there's such a divide in the Star Wars fan base right now, and it's just tearing me apart, and I need to see it fixed.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Fuck, I laughed at S-Bub's comment. Start growing Feige clones in those tubes with Snoke. Don't do flash cloning, though. We know that won't last long.
No.
If you go check out Halo. If you don't watch Halo, go check out our Halo reviews. Those fun times. But yeah, it's interesting because I feel like to be in that position, I would, like, if I was in her shoes, I wouldn't just willingly back down. Like, that would be such an ego hit. But like, there's also like, she's not the one that would make those. It's like the board, you know, that would be making those decisions to like at least ask her to step down. Or, but I like what you're stating, how like just even like a handover period of maybe not have like this person directly just like, this would never happen, but like just Kathleen Kennedy, and then just bring in like another person to fill her shoes. I definitely like what your idea was of like having her kind of be in a consulting position and have another person, again, just like a fresh personality, fresh year out Kathleen. After everything I've sacrificed. Oh, it would be exactly like that too. It's like, profits are up. God, I wish I knew that line specific, like the whole dialogue there, but because it would be similar. They're making profits. Profits are up, but you're out, Kathleen. But yeah, no, just have, because she has a font of knowledge, right, when it comes to these things and just making things, not just Star Wars. But Star Wars is such a weird thing though, because it just has so much value in it, and for whatever reason lately Lucasfilm hasn't been able to squeeze the most value out of it. I don't know, maybe they're scared, maybe they're really hesitant to get weird in that universe. Chris, a couple comments back, was bringing up just like are they scared to stay away from the Skywalkers because they've actually, you know, brought CGI Luke back in. It seems like every time they say that they're done with the Skywalker saga, there's just more things that lean in that camp of we're not really getting away from it. That could possibly be like a decision on the fly. Like maybe it's like, oh, I think we're done from it, and then it's just not going the way. It's like, oh, how can we save this? Bring back. It is safe. Yeah. No. Yeah.
They knew George took the Skywalker era to new heights, and that's just what they always freaking go back to, because it's like, hey, it's safe. This made so much money back in the day. We know it's what people are familiar with and everything. It's just like, you know, you're going back to the same. You need to move on from this relationship. You keep going back to your ex. You know, you got to move on.
Yeah. You can live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Yeah. Back to me. That's what George is doing. He's like sitting on his throne with his.
He's got the scripts ready to sell, and Disney's not buying them right now.
Kathleen Kennedy's out. George Lucas, new head of Lucasfilm.
There you go, I suppose.
There you go, I suppose. Costs are down, revenues are up, and stock has never been higher. And they still got rid of them. God, terrible board. But yeah, that was a good first. Many questions came out of that first question, so I liked it.
Many questions. I like Derby Gaming here. Expect pew 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 panels with more pew 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 interviews, even more pew 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 surprises.
If that leads to me some Florence Pugh, give me some of that. I'll have her in Star Wars.
That'd be a good addition. That'd be a really good addition.
Yeah.
Should she play an Ewok or?
No. Lead. Give her.
Not Ewok. I mean a Wookiee. A Wookiee. Sorry.
Just a little Florence Pugh. Like the weird like. Oh my god. Oh, I wasn't even gonna say what I was gonna say, but yeah, no, she's got to be a part of Star Wars sometime. Hopefully, a really good project.
Mm-hmm. We got. What will they announce of the already announced? Whoa, what the fuck did I read that? What will they show of already announced shows? Travis is writing.
There's a lot of announces in those notes,
yeah.
So I can't blame you there. Yeah, what will they show of already announced? That is terrible language, Travis. We're shitting on you again. I know you're watching Men right now, but you'll be listening to this. What will they show of already announced shows? So this is kind of what we would be expecting, I guess, of like actually more information on these things. I'm really hoping we get, even if it's not like a full teaser trailer, just like one of those cinematics of, I don't know, getting us in the realm. Like, I think my mind's going Acolyte right now because that's just the one I think I want the most, especially after Obi-Wan, is just a feeling of the setting, maybe a feeling of, because I feel like you can really show a lot without showing a lot. I know that kind of sounds weird, but like even just like having like a certain theme or like music to really set a tone, that way you just have like a first flavor or taste of what that show could possibly be. Again, that is like bare minimum. We better be getting like so much more of like actual castings. I hope they show like just bring up like some of the actors that are in some of these projects. There's so many that were announced. I like it's pretty pathetic, but like at this point I kind of will take anything just because it's been such a drought. And then just bad news with like these projects kind of slipping through the cracks or saying that we're going to focus our energies over here, or maybe we're putting this project on hold for a little bit. Is there anything that you're like expecting to be seen, or maybe a specific show will be showing something?
You've seen that new Mad Max, right? And Charlize Theron.
I haven't yet.
Tom Hardy.
No.
Oh, you haven't seen it? I was gonna make a reference.
Probably since like since the first year of the podcast, someone has told me to watch that movie, and it's just been totally slipping through the cracks. But
so it's not a spoiler, but there's a scene where obviously water is scarce, and there's like the leader Furiosa guy. I don't know their names. He's one of the leading guys. He's a bad dude, and he's at the top of this tower. And he like opens up these gates and water just trickles down. All these poor people wearing raggedy clothes.
okay, I've seen that GIF.
Poverty. Yeah, they're like reaching out trying to get the water. That's
video.
you. You said drought. I'm like, oh, we're all down there trying to get it, and Kathleen's just out there like letting the water out a little bit. Just give us a little taste. But what would I like to see from this of the announced shows? I want a Bad Batch season 2 trailer. I think that's definitely coming. I would love to see. I don't expect anything from Ahsoka because again, that's like a 2023 thing. I would love
next
to
year,
see. That is next year. I think
It's
they just
next
started
year? You don't think they'll have
production,
anything?
though.
Oh,
I think
okay.
they'll have a little, like probably a couple little like teasers or something like that. But I don't think we're gonna get any footage or anything like that.
It's Rosario Dawson. They know
Rosario
who the lead is.
Dawson. Yeah, yeah, confirmed. I think we'll definitely get an Andor trailer. And what else? I would love to see just a little bit more information on Acolyte, just something. I mean, we got the confirmation it's 100 years before Phantom Menace, which is perfect. Let's run with that. That's great. I guess maybe we could get something for Star Wars Visions season 2.
Right.
And then maybe on that droid show as well. I'm just looking here. So Patty Jenkins is obviously on the back burner a little bit because she's working more on the script for Rogue Squadron. And then we also have the Untitled Kevin Feige one, Mandalorian season 3 trailer. I mean, that would be welcome. You know, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Yeah. I honestly want to say they're going to kind of keep things more so under wraps than kind of exposing things. I think we'll get the Bad Batch and maybe some Mandalorian season 3 trailer stuff if we're lucky, and then Andor trailer for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you about the Andor one. Just because I forget what magazine it was, but they had like that image of Obi-Wan, or I guess I could say the actors, Ewan McGregor. Gosh, that was hard for me to say. Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and then maybe I shouldn't have said their names because I actually don't know who this actor is, but the lad who's he's in Andor. What's the character's name? You probably know. He's in
The character,
Rogue One.
the actor.
The character.
The character is Cassian.
So yeah, Cassian. So they have images of that. So it's, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of pointy. Diego Luna. Thank you, S-Bubs. Vanity Fair was the magazine. Look at this, double information from S-Bubs. So I think you're not. I don't think you're far off the mark there for sure. With that. Yeah, I have no experience with Bad Batch or anything. I think that'd be cool. You quite like that. Oh, I got spooked. It got really windy in real life there.
The rain like starts pounding on like my window. It's a rainstorm out there right now.
Is it raining where you are? Because it's
Oh
not
yeah,
raining where I am.
it's dousing right now.
Wow.
I'm living the Mad Max scene. The rain's come, water's coming down. Like,
Please, Kathleen Kennedy is giving you the water, not me. Yeah, so breaking the fourth wall there, but no, I think you're right. I hope we get some Visions sneak peek preview. Visions is so awesome, man. That's some of that stuff that's very unique and new to Star Wars, which I hope they just keep leaning more in that direction of doing stuff that's so different. And like for the most part, I think everyone really loved that stuff. So I don't know,
definitely.
little side tangent bar there.
What will they announce? Will they announce any movies, shows? What the fuck, Travis?
Will they announce any movies or shows? So I guess new projects. That's my guess at translating.
Isn't that the same as will they announce any new shows? Will they announce any movie shows? Movies shows?
We're gonna have to sit down with Travis and go over some proofreading.
I guess he means just movies. Any new movies?
Any new movies? Yeah. I'd say no. It's which is kind of weird because it's been a while since the last Star Wars movie, like what Rise of Skywalker came out
2019.
2019. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, so long ago. I don't think they'll announce anything new. It's kind of tying into what we were talking about earlier, how like we haven't even really gotten what they originally announced. So again, I would just kind of feel a little bitter if it's like, oh yeah, this is a brand new thing that's going to be coming out sometime. And it's like, what happened to those other projects that haven't had any further follow-up on? So I don't think we'll get any new movies announced. What do you think?
I'm kind of inclined to agree with you. I think we're sitting on a trilogy. We're sitting on 3 films. Taika, Kevin Feige, and Patty Jenkins. I mean, they announce a new movie. What does that do for us? It's like, yeah, the movie we might get in another 2 to 3 years. We're so overdue for a movie. I mean, how many movies has Marvel put out since 2019? Like, honestly,
Yeah.
they've just been full steam ahead. So I truly think that we need a trailer or something. We need to have some kind of showcase. Like, and I'm excited to see what Feige does. I really am. I'm excited to see what Taika does. The way they wrote the article was that they're not doing this cohesive storyline, but they have this kind of like umbrella, and they're all working underneath this umbrella in a storyline that's moving forward, is how I took it. So for me, and I'm being biased here, I just think, again, they should go with a safe option and give us that Rogue Squadron movie and just make that a priority right now, because I think people just need to be reminded of Star Wars in the theater. They really need to be reminded of that. And I think X-Wings and Rogue Squadron and setting it as like after the main trilogy as well, or the original trilogy, I think that's a great way to just get people back into this world that Disney created in the sequel era. That's
Yeah. No, I'm missing like those theatrical big Star Wars moments. I mean, say what you will about the quality of those movies, it's still an exciting time when you're going to a theater for a Star Wars project, even if it's an anthology film or something. So yeah, we've definitely been missing that. I mean, it goes back to the Mad Max desert thing. Like, we're just kind of in a drought for that. And it doesn't make the most sense on why that even is a thing, you know, like for someone like Disney, at least on paper, I feel like it should make sense for them to be able to put that stuff out, but it's just it's the weird things behind the scenes that just is affecting this in whatever shape or form. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, SPUB says it here. What's the point of announcing a new movie if there's like 4 unreleased movies? He's totally right, with no info on those 4 movies as well. And I like this. Throw in a Mando cameo or something in Rogue One, if it's post Return of the Jedi, and I'll get people in the theaters. Definitely, if you bring some of these characters from the TV shows onto the big screen, people will be like, oh, like I want to see Grogu. Like, people want Grogu. Like Espos mentioned earlier in the chat, Grogu's merch is making tons of money for Disney and Lucasfilms right now. So I mean, if you put Grogu in a movie, god damn, you know how amazing that's gonna be. Holy crap. Like, again, to people in my family that are not big Star Wars fans, like my sister and her partner, they're very much like, under a rock, no internet kind of thing, or like, they have internet, but they keep well out of mainstream media as far as geek stuff goes. Complete opposite of me. But now when it comes to Grogu, Baby Yoda, and Mandalorian, they have Disney Plus. They love that. They have like actual like plushies of Grogu. Like it's the one thing that's just kind of pulls them in for Star Wars. So this is just goes to show they need to pick these characters, put them into a big movie, and then you're just laughing.
And like SBub said, like just give them slightly different outfit in the movie, and then you have a whole nother line of toys and stuff to make money off of. Because like you just said, like you're like you just laid out your sister that isn't the most like in the now of what's going on, but like still like those individuals can still get attracted to that type of character, Grogu. Just adorable. Like so many people that probably weren't even watching Mando or anything like that, like have that I work with have like Grogu like little props and just merch and stuff like that. So it is definitely a huge moneymaker, and it's get them in there. So
I'll easily buy a Black Series Grogu from Rogue Squadron, the movie. I have 2 Black Series Grogu figures. I'd love some more. What we got here as our next bump here? What will they show of already announced movies? I guess we kind of talked about that already. Any video game news?
Yeah, you might get like some more of the what's it called? The terrible title that they have for Jedi. What's it called? Jedi Sacrifice or something like that?
Jedi Sacrifice.
Yeah, what is it called?
Survivor.
Survivor. God, I hate that title. It doesn't roll off the tongue nicely at all. Am I in the minority in that? Like, how do you feel about that name?
I'm not big on it.
You're not big on it? You're not as bad on it as me, though. Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, the tribe is
You've been voted. Yeah, you've been voted off the island.
Voted off the order.
Call it Fallen Order 2. Exactly, like SBub said. Like, geez, it's just... Anyways, name aside, I think you'll get some more thing there. It hasn't been confirmed that Cal is the protagonist, is it? Or has there been like big assumption? I haven't beaten Fallen Order, so I don't even know how that ends. Like,
I would say
just get like murked or something.
It's no, I would say it's massively. It's not confirmed, but I would say it's massively assumed that he'd be the main character with how the story goes. It was pretty heavily left open for a sequel.
Okay, with that character, yeah. So I don't know, maybe just show some new character models or something of something like that. Maybe give some information on what the plot is. I'm not really expecting like a gameplay thing. I don't know why. I just kind of assumed that would be shown off at another show, and I don't know if that makes the most sense because this is their own Star Wars event. But still, it just in my head, I feel like that's where it'd be shown off. And because we haven't seen a lot about it so far, I think it's still a little early. But I don't have much reasoning for that thought process.
No, that's fair. I don't know if we'll really see anything for it. Actually, I'll just piggyback on that. Things I do want to see come out of this are I'd love to know if there's any movement on Star Wars Battlefront 3. That's one of my main things. The number one thing I really want to see, and there has been discussions held about this, it's just been like a timeline kind of thing, is Star Wars Empire at War. Same team coming back to work on it, working on a new one. The fact that the discussions have been held with the team on that, it just has me super excited because this is something that's it's an idea that's being played around with. And if we got a new Star Wars Fallen Order, Star Wars Empire at War, I'd be so in love. I still play that game like on what free time I have. I play it.
I know.
It's so good.
It's on my wish list, and it surprised me because that game is still like, it's like it's like the price of like a regular game now. It's like $30 or something. And it's like, okay, I do want to try this, but like not $30 worth want to try this. So I would definitely be in on that because you know me, I love my strategy games and have Star Wars in it. I think that'd be really, really cool. That'd be an announcement that I would actually be really excited for.
Definitely. Like, it's just it's got to be a matter of time before we get it. Like, that game has so much depth to it. And again, it's an age game, so the graphics are not 100%, but like it still delivers graphically, in my opinion. And just the battles you get to experience, like even the galactic conquest of like 55 planets and choosing your faction, having the Death Star and just blowing up planets. Like, it's just it's very immersive and very surreal. I just going into a planet with like a fleet of 50 Star Destroyers, your Super Star Destroyer. Not all at once. You can only have a limit of like 8 Star Destroyers at once, kind of in battle. But it's such a thrilling experience. And yeah, I would want another one of those. On top of that, what was the other one I was thinking? I'd love to it's out of the blue, but another Republic Commandos or something like that would be just a guilty pleasure. I think Travis mentioned like Knights of the Old Republic. He shared an article in regards to that, and I read a little bit that they're still working on it, and I guess expect like a lot to be coming out in the next little bit, like little bits of it.
More information, over the next month, I think it said.
Yeah, because they're remaking it from the ground up because it's such an aged game, which makes sense. So that'll be good to see what comes out of that. Oh, yes, the Ubisoft one. Now, they were working on a big Star Wars title, and I really want to see something come out of that because I think last year's E3 coverage that we did, I was thinking, okay, we're going to see Star Wars during the Ubisoft conference portion. Not a thing, and it completely shocked me to my core. So I would love to see something here for that. This would be the place. We need to see some more Star Wars games and just some content that they're working on, because it's just kind of like it's as bad as the movies right now, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. It's another one of those things where, like, I feel like you can't really go wrong of just putting out like more content, more quantities of those types of things, because there was like a period of time when like those were just like the best games coming out from it wasn't Lucasfilm, it was like LucasArts. Yeah, LucasArts, that's right. And I remember there's just like a plethora of like really gold. I'm sure there's some really shit ones in there, but like even just like Jedi Academy, it's probably really dated now, but like that was a really cool, unique one. And Jedi Fallen Order is kind of the new version of that. But yeah, let's get crazy. Let's just have like a clone centric war game. Maybe I'm just describing Battlefront here.
Sounds like Battlefront.
Yeah, more creative minds out there will come up with some better things, I hope. But they haven't yet, because we haven't had much announcements. But definitely, I'm excited to get some more KOTOR news, and yeah, Empire War, man.
Yeah,
to get my hopes up.
Oh man, we got a question from S-Bubs. Does lack of Star Wars movies hurt the brand?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's weird because if they only are putting out, let's have a little thought experiment here. Like if they don't put out a movie for like a long time, 10 years, like does the interest of Star Wars go down if they're still putting out like a lot of Disney Plus products like Mandalorian, like you got your animated shows, Bad Batch, stuff like that. 'Cause I don't know. I feel like that gets the Disney Plus viewers and maybe like the Star Wars fans, but I think that kind of puts the general audience members in a different camp that probably won't actually that get exposed to those sort of things, and maybe like an older audience that just aren't subscribed to. I don't know why I'm ageist here. I don't know why I would just assume it's an older audience, but let's just say for this thought experiment that like the older audience just isn't as engaged on like what's coming out on Disney Plus and stuff like that. I mean, I can even just speak like just some older coworkers that I've talked to, like they didn't even know that like a lot of like Mandalorian or anything like a lot of this stuff are out, but like they still know about Star Wars, right? Whereas if you actually get it announced in theaters, that gets all over the place, because they're going to be just advertising that absolutely everywhere. They do advertise a lot for these shows, but still I think it's just pushed even more so for the big movies, because they have like a whole run of what's the word I'm promoting, like a promotion tour, and they do that sometimes for shows, but still it's just it's a whole nother level, especially when it comes to Star Wars and on the big theater screen. But like the expectations are so much higher for something like that, I guess, especially if it's like a main, I don't want to say trilogy, but like a main saga type film. And because I don't know, like for me personally, I don't think it really does like hurt the brand if we aren't getting a movie for a while. It's weird for sure, because that's obviously where it started from, but like we're still getting and I haven't even seen Clone Wars or Bad Batch or Rebels or anything like that, but like that's still like some good quality content for Star Wars wise, right? but I still think that they're missing out on the wide range of audience that you would get from a full screen theater. So yeah, maybe it does hurt the brand. What are your thoughts?
I think it hurts the brand because when you do something like a Book of Boba Fett, that's our only reference material right now. When you're dealing with they have this cohesive storyline in Star Wars right now with the Mandalorian, and our only storyline that people can relate to in Star Wars is this time period with the Mandalorian and Boba Fett and Luke. And now with Boba Fett being not a great overall received show, it sours the overall picture of Star Wars right now. And you have something like Obi-Wan that's going to come out that's hopefully going to boost up morale on everything Star Wars related, which is great. But I don't want to say it's like a sign of weakness, but I do think that we need to see a Star Wars movie. Heck, you can just make it for Disney Plus. Just show that, like, hey, we have this like dominating factor. I thought of something here because I want to reference it. So when Disney bought Star Wars, that was back in 2012, I think in October.
Wow.
And like, yeah, a decade ago.
I feel old.
And we've only gotten 5 movies under their watch, under their umbrella over 10 years. How many has Marvel done? Like a fuck ton of movies. It's crazy.
I think a fuck ton. I think that's the actual number.
Like, you just look at the commitment and how precise they were. Like, they bought Star Wars and they knew exactly what they were going to do with it. They were so in the zone because 3 years later in 2015, we got The Force Awakens and that movie killed it. Yes, it had a lot of hype, like Avatar would, being a long period of time coming back into theaters. It generated buzz. It had the returning cast. Like, it was definitely what people wanted at that time, right place, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was represented again. Like, the Star Wars movies kept making $1 billion after that. And yes, they're probably riding off the success of this and Rogue One. But what they started to flop with was they started off strong and this straightforward mindset, like, we know what we need to do with these movies. Again, the timeline came out at 2015 where they showed, like, we're going to have these anthology movies in between the main films. It's going to be great. And then things started to get shaky and they started to fall apart and crumble after that, and they haven't recuperated from that. Again, to me, it just shows that sign of weakness, and that's why, to me, it shows the brand is hurting. That's why I want to see that young Star Wars Disney again, that from 2012 to 2015. We're like, hey, we know exactly what we're doing. We're going to get this movie. We're going to put it out, and we are confident and stand by it. We own up to it. But right now, they're hurting, and I see that. So,
yeah, that's a good point. I also feel like maybe too, because, like, did every new trilogy movie make $1 billion?
yeah.
Yeah, it did. Okay, so I hope, and yeah, I hope they don't just see it like, okay, any time that we put out a Star Wars movie, it has to hit $1 billion or it's a fail. I really don't want to be in a mindset, because, like, that's an insane
It's a steep price.
achievement. Yeah, it is a steep price, and, like, I can understand why that happened, because that was a part of the Skywalker trilogy, like that, or saga. That was a part of the journey that George started way back in the 70s, right, from episode 4. So I don't know how, like, again, I'm not an executive or anything like that. I don't know anything about, like, making films or anything like that, but I think the like a lower budget film compared to those, it has a place obviously on the big screen, but you would have to market it in a really certain way where, like, people aren't having that expectations, because it's just such a big franchise where, like, especially even just like the board members or, like, people that are actually, like, in charge, right? Like, okay, well, if we're going to focus all of our energies on this, it has to hit $1 billion. And the reason it hits that is because it's such an expensive undergoing of like doing something like that. And maybe that's why it takes so fucking long to get a movie out. So I don't know. I think they have to change their perspective on, and maybe they have. Again, I don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes, but I think they need to change their perspective on what is a big screen movie for Star Wars. And also, the audience members might have to shift their expectations, which is next to impossible for me to just say that and for that to happen, because if a movie comes out and it has half the budget of, I don't even know what the budget is for Rise of Skywalker. Maybe I should pull that up. Budget was $275 million. Funny how I had just had that right there. But
doesn't seem like a lot.
It doesn't seem like a lot, no, absolutely, for it to be making $1 billion. So if you take like a third of that, you can make a really nice quality film. I mean, fuck, I love A24. They have like, especially their earlier stuff, some of the like the cheapest budgets ever, in, like some of my favorite movies. So I don't know. It's just weird when you have the name Star Wars in there, right? Because the expectations are just so skewed, and just warped from the get go, because it's one of the most iconic franchises like of all time, especially in media. So yeah, great question. S-Bobs, join our Patreon. You can post your own questions for our episodes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I think that wraps up everything Star Wars wise. Do you have any final thoughts on that, or we want to carry on?
No, I don't think so. I really hope we have a positive experience with this Star Wars celebration thing, because that's what it should be. It's a celebration of Star Wars, not just, did you see what they talked about at the Star Wars celebration? Like, I don't want that to be the outcome from it. Fuck, man, that's around the time of Obi-Wan too, so
Yeah,
it should be, it should be celebrations and happiness, which has not been the Star Wars slogan as of late. But
yeah.
anyways, you want to throw out a quick ad break, and then
I'd
might
love
move
to.
on to something new.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Look at that. We got new lighting too randomly. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was
like
crazy.
perfect timing.
Okay, where are we now? Ooh, we got some Stan Lee cameos coming back.
Possibly. Tune in next time to find out. Endcast. Yeah.
There's an article associated with this that I should have. Oh, there it is. There's the link. I should have opened that up sooner. I totally missed this. Okay, so yeah, we have basically, I guess, to honor his service, they want to keep up with the cameos basically in these movies.
So yeah, when I was reading this article, the article, by the way, is on thedirect.com. It was written by Sam Hargrave, and I didn't even know this, but they have like a Stan Lee universe. Let me get the actual. Yeah, the Stan Lee universe was formed by Genius Brands, and it's like its own property, sort of, to be able to brand. And it's not just him. It's like, I guess it is just him, but also like I think the idea of it is to like let his legacy live on, and also just be attached to these things that he's brought into life. Like him, he is one of like the greatest things to have happened to the comic books and stuff like that. Just such an originator, came up with so many great original things. And in the MCU, to honor just what he did, they had him obviously cameoing in all the movies, even the Hulk, leading up until Infinity War, which was the last one to feature him, because he had unfortunately passed away. I think the year before that, 2018, I believe he passed away, and then Infinity War came out 2019. And so yeah, it was always fun to see him in there, but then obviously we kind of just figured after he passed, we wouldn't be seeing him on screen again. But while reading through this article, they had some quotes in here, which I definitely will pull up because I don't want to paraphrase these. It's something along the lines like honoring him through different, like using his likeness, and maybe just what's the best way to word it? Like just his iconic image, or certain things that would be a classic Stan Lee, to like actually honor that and possibly feature those in future projects, possibly feature those in like the parks and stuff like that. And I think when people initially read this or probably just like the clickbait article, and a lot of people were getting super grouchy about, was like it being, okay, they're going to just CGI Stan Lee into future projects to have those cameos keep going, because through the Stan Lee universe, which is like the name of that thing I was explaining, they have the rights to, I should have highlighted this. I totally lost it. I was right on it, then I zoomed up. Sorry, folks. Bear with me. So Marvel Studios. Oh no, wrong one. Do you see it on your article? Oh yeah. So
No, I
will now have the
don't.
rights to use Lee's name, his likeness, and signature on big and small screens, on top of images, footage, and audio recordings related to him. Disney theme parks, cruise lines, and park merchandise will now be able to use his name, voice, likeness, and signature, which is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I don't think I'll ever have that deal when I'm all said and done. Maybe if it's tied
The
to
Geekverse, we're going to be using
Yeah.
your signature after you're gone.
Genius Brands CEO, which Genius Brands is the ones that started Stanley Universe. Andy Hayward, the CEO, called the arrangement a broad deal, explaining that it will ensure Lee can live on through digital technology and archival footage and other forms, which by reading that, I would assume like things he's already appeared in. It's not like they're just remaking him like they had like the Tupac hologram at Coachella whatever years ago. Hayward went on to explain that decisions with regard to his likeness will be welcomed if they are handled with taste and class. Yeah, what are your initial thoughts on this? Did you react? S-Bubs in the comments. Most article titles were like Marvel buys Stan Lee. And I think that was like the vast majority of people's reaction to this, is that they were super sour because that's the way it seemed, just at least on like the clickbait articles, or maybe just people skimmed through the article and thought that's what it was. Yeah, S-Bubs added, I think 90% of people didn't actually read the article, which I didn't initially, because I didn't even see any clickbait thing. I think I was on, I don't know, it might have even been Discord, some people just chatting about it, and then because the initial reaction is like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up and weird that like you have this person who passed away, and then you're just like, in their words, honor him by just creating him again and then having him feature in different things going forward. But yeah, like, what was your initial thoughts on just the hearing of this?
My first impressions was, yes, they're gonna be CGI Lee recreating Stanley, and that just put
Stanley is the
of
villain of the next Avengers movie.
yes, full CGI Stanley. Just put a knot in my stomach. I thought,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm being, I'm trying to blank on the word, hypocrite. Maybe I'm being a hypocrite because like I like Rogue One, and we have Grand Moff Tarkin who's CGI'd in there,
Mhm.
CGI Leia and all that stuff for that matter. But at the end of the day, I think that I feel like it's different. You're dealing with a very big icon who just warms the hearts of so many, like millions of people that love this franchise, love comics, love superheroes, and just to kind of do that, I know they mean well, but at the same time, it does feel like it's a little disgraceful. Now, again, like, I don't know the context of it being like, hey, maybe he did legit sign a contract saying pop me in CGI like out the wazoo. And if he did and that's his decision, then yeah, I'll stand by that. That's his choice. But the way you explained it and how they can use, different factors of his life and, recordings, his image, or it could be on the backdrop of something. I think that's what Defenders did. Defenders on Netflix had references to him through imagery and everything like that. Or even in Spider-Verse, when he's the one who sells that suit to Miles Morales, like it doesn't have to be a full-on like CGI recreation of him, but just that reference. Like I really like that kind of stuff, and I think that that's something that is totally acceptable in my eyes, that I think is great that they could continue to keep his spirit alive with the heart of the MCU for so many things going forward. So I think that's good.
Yeah, it's, and like, to go further on what? Oh, that's Pub's comment. Well, if they can use the signature, they could just make up that he made a contract. Yeah, let's not get any of that shit. Venom 2, he's on a magazine cover in Deadpool 2. He's a mirror. I didn't remember seeing him in Venom 2. That's interesting. But yeah, to just again flesh out further the quotes that the CEO Andy Hayward said was, it really ensures, and this is in regards to him just being involved in the projects or just appearing in them, it really ensures that Stan, through digital technology and archival footage and other forms, will live in the most important venue, the Marvel movies and Disney theme parks. It's a broad deal. I'm a little bit more negative on the Marvel movies side of it, because again, like in my eyes, it's just, okay, are we going to be getting just more Stan Lee cameos? In the Disney theme parks, I'm not saying I want like a hologram Stan Lee being like my guide on the parks or anything like this, but just little things to like have his like quote unquote signature on these things, which are ideas that him and other people have just thought of from their brains, which are these like superheroes, and maybe just have, I don't even know the best way to lay it out, so maybe I'm not the best person to pitch of like what the best way to tackle this would be, but just something, I don't know, like his glasses or something, like on the park or something, because it's so iconic, and like his mustache, it's just, you know what that is, and I think just having something like that a part of it, I have no issues with, especially in the parks. But like, but yeah, it's a fine line from being like disrespectful to just bring someone like back from the dead, for lack of a better term, and then the other side of that fine line is just honoring them and their legacy and what they brought. And I think if it's handled tactically, I think that's the right word, tactically, like it can actually be really really nice and like kind of warm the heart of just, because yeah, like in I forget what movie it was, but it was it might have been Captain Marvel or something, where he had, oh no, it wasn't Captain Marvel. It was something where there was like a little quote of his at the end of the movie instead of a cameo. Do you remember which one I'm talking about? I know it was a Marvel movie. Oh, it's bugging me. Someone in the comments might remember. But anyways, there was something like that, and like he wasn't in the movie, but still, just reading that and like having his little piece of Stan Lee, it just kind of warmed my heart again because of just like the life that he had. Spider-Verse had the quote, S-Bubs with the pulse. Yeah, so, and I guess he was actually in that as well. So he was, like you just mentioned, he was the the grimy old man selling the the small suit. It fits eventually. Everybody fits it eventually. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Like I wouldn't be the best person to handle the usage of that and navigating it to be the most respectful way, but I really hope they take their time and do it right. And I might be optimistic here, but I feel like they would, because there's already an instance. I think it was the Simpsons short, The Good, the Bad. Oh yeah, The Good, the Bart, and the Loki. Apparently they wanted to have a cameo of Stanley in there, and then Marvel actually shut that down, which the fact that they did that at least shows me that like, okay, they're at least cautious, like they're not just greenlighting everything there. So I do hope that it actually is handled tastefully.
Just putting them on cereal boxes everywhere and Stanley's.
Oh god. Yeah, just making like billions of dollars off his name. Yeah, let's not have that at all. It's that fine line, because it easily could go the way that it is distasteful and it is disrespectful. And we got a comment in chat. Teleric one, if the money goes to his estate and family, that would be cool. And I don't remember exactly how the contract works out for that. I don't know. Maybe it's somewhere in this article that I completely missed. I did read through it, so I should have caught that. But
I would imagine a percentage, regardless, would have to go to the estate and family.
Yeah. If not, that's just fucked up.
Yeah.
Family's going, it's like, hey, why is my grandpa's name in here?
You do got to be careful, because I think I remember I mentioned this a long time ago, but it was an individual associated with Back to the Future, and he specifically set it up so that he would take certain rights to the grave with him, and they could not be reproduced. And now I'm gonna have to think like, yeah, when I die, I'm gonna have to say, hey, you can't use anything CGI wise for my body after I'm gone. I don't trust Travis, recreating me and putting me on the screen in one of his weird movies he's trying to do.
Are you assuming you die first in this scenario? In my head canon, Travis dies first every time.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, no, I'll have to look in deeper to see if the money goes exactly to his, but like Taylor said, I think it does for sure, at least. But the other quote I was going to mention, which I kind of touched upon, which is again from the CEO of Genius Brands. He said, the audience revered Stan, and if it's done with taste and class and respectful of who he was, it will be welcomed. And I completely agree with that. But again, it's that fine line. He is a beloved personality, and long after you and I are gone, he will remain the essence of Marvel. Which I think like that quote kind of maybe put me on the more positive side of like, okay, I can at least see how that could be handled correctly. Because yeah, like you don't want to just because he passed away, you have Stan Lee as the creator of like you know, like his name attached with a sense, but also just his essence and being. And I that was a weird way to say that. I don't want like Ultron Stan Lee's gonna be flying around everywhere, but yeah, just again like have, because he was so like he put his whole essence into those characters that he was making the comics, and just everything. Like I remember playing like Spider-Man on PS1, and he was like the narrator at something like that, right? So it's like I feel like I didn't even know who that was at the time. It was just like, oh, who's this narrator here? But looking back on it, knowing that that's Stan Lee, it's a really cool thing, and how involved he was. It's not like he just made the comics and then these other studios profited off of his ideas and just carried it all. Like he still was really much a part of it up until he passed away. So I really hope that is like the main priority for the way that they tackle any possible, I don't even want to call them cameos, just possible usages of him, not necessarily just in the movies, but just anything Marvel related, whether it be the Disney parks, the Marvel world. I don't think that's what it's called, but some sort of Marvel attractions at the Disney parks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then in regards to, I think there was a Patreon question about that. I guess it was Maddie Sags. Patreon.
Sags.
Would any of you have an issue with Marvel recreating Stan Lee digitally with CGI for cameo appearances? And I don't want to speak for Taylor, but I feel like we both were kind of in that camp where it's like, yeah, that would be weird if they just did the same sort of cameo of him like dropping like a funny one-liner, but it's clearly not him. That I think is on the like, it's past the line of me not liking it. What do you agree with me there, Taylor?
I agree. It just feels really, really off. You have a scenario.
Sorry, I just want to add on. Like, it's not like it's not like they're honoring him in like a new way. It's like they're just like almost disregarding that he had passed away, and they're just trying to be like, oh, business as usual. He's still Stan Lee cameoing in these projects. Like because it's not the same. Like he is gravely missed, and I think that they have to evolve in the usage. If they go that route, like they have to do it in a different way, and in a more clever way, because it's a little bit trickier when someone's passed away and you really want to honor like the family and just what he was. So yeah, sorry, I interjected.
Yeah, no, not at all. I was just gonna say that if you're trying to do it, I just feel like it doesn't have that same meaning behind it, because it's missing something. Whereas if you look at Rise of Skywalker, you have like Billy Lord, who's playing a young Leia to help as a stand-in for that sequence. I think that then that has a lot of meaning to it and a lot of power behind it. And as a fan, I can get behind that. But if you just have a random actor who's CGI'd over as Stan Lee and says the line, it just feels weird. It feels like they're trying to push something. And like, I think Espub said it earlier in here, I think his final appearance being Endgame was perfect. I agree with 100%. That. No more after that. I'm totally on board with that, Espubs. I think that's so accurate. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
couldn't agree more. Anything else on the subject?
I don't think so. I think we can got some more Disney stuff though. We can keep it going if you want.
Ooh, let's keep rocking and rolling.
Captain Carter live action. Oh no, we're not going there yet. I got the alert. We got to talk about Daredevil first.
Oh, good catch. How are we doing time? Ad break time, or are we good?
No. I think after
we're
this
still rocking
and the Captain Carter topic, yeah, we'll do another ad break then. I think we're good. So,
Let's
Daredevil. It's coming back to Disney Plus, or I guess coming back to streaming on a streaming service near you.
Yes. Brand new Disney Plus. Yeah, this is very, very exciting news. I think ever since, there's been murmurs forever on what they're going to be doing it. And then obviously we saw him on screen in Spider-Man No Way Home. And then I think ever since that moment, people were posing the question of like, where is he going to appear next? And I don't know, did you have any like inklings that he would just get another TV series? I didn't at all, honestly. I thought that because he had his Netflix series show there, he would just maybe be appearing in other projects, maybe be a part of like a team up film, and then maybe down the line have his own feature film, but like knowing that he is getting his own series, I think personally like it makes total sense to go that route. Clearly he had the cojones to lead a series already on the Netflix series, but now it's under a different streaming service entirely. And now it's on Disney. But yeah, did you have any inklings that this would be happening?
I did not have any suspicions or sneaking vibes that this was going to happen. I know like he's definitely like the saint of the Netflix Marvel series, that's for sure. People just praise him, and I know you can give me hate. I haven't seen the Netflix show yet, and it's on the itinerary. I was like,
You
oh,
fooled
Luke
me. You
Cage.
said it in the chat. You're like, oh, this show's awesome. I can't wait to talk about it with Kirklin. I'm like,
I know, I was trolling. That's why Travis
Okay, I
laughed
see.
at my comment. But no, I was always kind of like, oh, let's go Iron Fist. I'm so on board with this. Let's get into it.
so you saw this. You're like, why isn't Iron Fist announced?
Yeah,
Screw
where's
this
Iron
guy.
Fist? Why is he not in here? Yeah. But no,
Interesting. I thought you actually had seen it then. Okay, never mind.
It's on my watch list for sure. I really want to just like take the time and binge it. I just need the time. That's the problem. But yeah, it's just I'm excited. I'm glad that we're getting this because seeing him in Spider-Man No Way Home was just super, super exciting. It had me really, really stoked. So I'm happy that he's gonna have a hand being held by someone in Marvel, you know, a Feige, to help him kind of coast through on keeping his show alive and just kind of giving us a new adventure and a new story in the same, you know, in the MCU now, which I think is fantastic. So I'm really excited and looking forward to it and what kind of new stories will come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I like ever since there was some rumors around Daredevil. It must have been in anticipation for No Way Home, and then that's where Feige dropped the line, like, if you do see Daredevil, it will be played by Charlie Cox, and I think a lot of people were just really happy from that. I haven't seen all of Daredevil. I've at least seen, I think, the full first season. Yeah, another of those things I got to revisit and jump in there, and no reason not to now after this. I don't even know if it's been officially announced. Has it been? It's just been like an A+ tier like rumor thing. Yeah, so I think a big announcement will be coming fairly soon from the big head honchos, but nonetheless, yeah, so I'd seen the first season. I was very, very impressed. I think it's a very dark, gritty show compared to like the other Marvel stuff, but again, it's in the Netflix comic book Marvel movies, or not movies, TV series realm. I think Charlie Cox is such a phenomenal Daredevil. I got so excited just seeing him on screen for No Way Home, and it goes to say something because I haven't even seen all of Daredevil, right? So it left such a powerful impression on me. I think it's interesting because a big part of why I really, really like the first season of Daredevil, or all that I've seen of Daredevil, was like the dark grittiness of it. Some of the best fight sequences like of all time that I've seen. And yeah, just the character was really, really interesting and really well portrayed. And I'm not a big Daredevil fan. Like, I haven't really experienced him too much in the comic books, other than maybe some happenstances when he crosses over with Spider-Man. But yeah, no, I not the most knowledge on it, but it's so exciting to just know that, like, okay, he's finally getting his own project in the MCU, and this is better. In my opinion, this is better than him not getting his own series and then maybe just making some appearances in movies or something, because then he would just have smaller screen time. If it's a collab, obviously he would have to share screen with a lot of people, and just him having his own series, you can really dive into the character and get weird. Go to Hell's Kitchen and just see what the man without fear can cook up. The avocado Allah. Still don't really understand what that means, but nonetheless, this is really, really exciting news. And I mean, for the listeners out there, they probably have seen all 3 seasons of it, so they're probably super, super jazzed. I know Travis is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely scratching many people where they itch, which is great. I'm happy for them.
Absolutely.
Speaking of being happy, we got rumors of Captain Carter live action show. I feel like we talked about this not too long ago.
I think, well, it was tied with the Multiverse of Madness. It might have been in that review or maybe a newscast like shortly after that, because the first newscast after Multiverse of Madness, I think we were going pretty heavy spoiler discussion and we were actually talking about Captain Carter, but nonetheless, another rumor, but still possibly getting her own show. And I think this is a rumor that it's only a matter of time until it's like completely confirmed. Everybody absolutely loved Captain Britain in the What If series, and spoiler alert for Multiverse of Madness here. So if you haven't seen that, cover your ears for a little bit. But I like just seeing her on screen, all geared up and everything. Like it just looked so awesome. I'm very, very excited to get. Oh my gosh, Travis is gonna hate me right now. I'm completely forgetting the actress's name. Haley Atwell. Thank you. I didn't even need help there. Taylor didn't even like pull up a whiteboard
Travis isn't
to pull
angry
me up.
at you.
Yeah. Haley Atwell to get her back. She's the type of actress where I don't think I've seen her in absolutely anything except for like Captain America, and I'm like, I gotta see her in more things. She's so charismatic, really charming, and just really fun to have on screen. And to have her in this just badass, kick-ass role, it's gonna be super, super exciting. And yeah, no, I'm super, super pumped. In the MCU 10 years cast, it was discussed. S. Bubs, man, he's pulling all these things. Better memory than me, and I was even on that cast. So you're looking like that hacker man in that meme. Should pull up that image for the video.
I
viewers.
should. She was in. I guess she's in the new Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Oh, that's
Part
right.
1.
Yes, she is. That's right.
She was in Christopher Robin.
Really?
She
must
played
been
the
love interest?
McGregor's wife. Yeah.
Okay.
What else is she in here?
Definitely seen that movie, but I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's in a few different things. Interesting. Yeah.
But anyways, what are your initial thoughts on this? Is it like one of those things you're like, meh, not surprised at all? Or is it surprised?
I'm not surprised. No, I think this is definitely it's a thing that needs to happen. I think people want to see her come back more after she just got absolutely bopped in Doctor Strange. So I think it's only fair that we see more of her. Just playing this role. Like we got the What If version where she's one of the Guardians of the Multiverse, and we have this other one now where she passed away in 838, I think it was. But I just want to.
She passed away. She did more than that. She fucking flopped over.
Yeah, I just.
I don't know why. Anytime I think of now saying like passed away, I get taken back to that moment when we were talking. I think it was like an anticipation for Last Jedi, maybe, or even like Rise of Skywalker. So like definitely I think we're in either Travis's podcast room or Dylan's basement. But you had mentioned that like Emperor Palpatine's like, oh, when he passed, and it was such an interesting way to look at like his fucking murder that he got, his just absolute decimation when he just got killed. I loved how like nicely you just laid it. It's like, oh, the passing of Palpatine.
Passing of Palpatine, yeah.
Anyways, really random side note there, but carry on.
It. Here's this guy back again, like you asked. Was this the guy you wanted, or did you want the other guy?
Yes, that's what you look like when you were looking for some Haley Atwell. Haley Atwell project.
The hair stands up.
God,
I love
that
this
image.
one too. Me coding in grade 4.
That's like what is that computer too? At first I thought it was like Sky High.
Sky High. It's
looks like a Marvel thing. Superheroes, something.
It totally is. So it's relevant. That's clearly the Hulk and Iron Man on there. It's clearly relevant. S-Bubs, if you can tell us like what this computer is, 10 points. 10 points to Gryffindor.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if he pulled that up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Haley Atwell, Captain Carter, Superhero Squad.
Fuck, he's just on it. He just knows. God damn. Shout out 10 points. Just Bubs right there. I got to make it official here.
Classic cartoon, S tier theme song.
There we go. 10 points to S Bubs. Yeah, I just think Captain Carter, let's do it. I want to see more of that universe with her in it. I think she's a fantastic character. So anything else you want to add on to that, or are we Gucci?
I guess a follow-up question there is like, what would you expect from a series like that? Like, what would you expect the threat being? I'd imagine it's in 838, the same universe that she was in, because I don't think she's in 616.
It could be a different one too. I mean,
that
there's
is true.
Other multiverses. You could just
Yeah.
get the exact like Captain America First Avenger, same movie, everything just reskinned with Peggy Carter.
It's like the What If episode, but just live action.
Yeah.
She's picking up Steve like She-Hulk was at the end of that trailer. Yeah, I'm like, do you think the threat would be another Hydra threat? It's pretty tied to what if Captain Carter face, and also like the first Avenger. Do you think it would be more of an origin story, or of one that she's already been established? Like she's been Captain Carter for a while now, and she's just facing new threats. I think it's pretty open on where they go, because it's not like this is tying into the next big Avengers movie or anything like that, right? So they have a lot of creativity in that sense, which is awesome, because they can do something very new. Ghost Rider appears. Who knows? Let's will that into existence.
I'd love that.
Would you be kind of disappointed though if he's in like another universe and it's just like, or do you think that would be like, okay, he's in this other universe, that means that they have it on screen, so it'll carry over easily.
I would not be disappointed if he's in another universe, because it's the same thing with Reed Richards. That just confirms like, hey, they're dabbling, they're going there, so definitely in it.
Yeah. And then for the threat, is there anything on top of your head what you could imagine?
That's a tricky one. I mean, maybe the Secret Empire thing they're
we're
going
there.
into, but yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be many different things, because like we were saying, like if it's a different multiverse, it could be Thanos. You know, like there's no reason why it couldn't be. Hopefully not.
Hopefully
that'd be
not.
weird. Get Thanos back that early, but I think a thought process that I had initially when I heard this, or not even initially when I heard this news, but just earlier today when I was thinking about it, is like, is there any chance, and would it be kind of weird if, I don't know, man, maybe she meets up with a certain America Chavez or something that can actually transport her to a sacred timeline, a 616 type universe, and then all of a sudden we have Captain Carter like in our timeline. I think personally it would be kind of a bit of a thumbs down, because then you're just losing like the meaning of like her and Steve like actually having that happy ending, dancing, you know, back in time.
I think you're also compromising Wilson, right? From being the new Captain America.
Oh yeah. My mind went Wilson
Sam.
Fisk. I'm like, what are we doing with
Fisk, yeah,
what are we doing with
Fisk is
Kingpin?
new Captain America.
No, you are right there, but like it doesn't mean she has to. I don't know. Maybe she's in Britain. She's the captain. She's Captain Britain, right? So
That's
she's not
true.
actually established
She
or
teams
fighting
up
with
with
Sam
her-
Wilson.
Teams up with her niece. It's like a show of just the two of them together doing adventures.
That's her main threat. Is
Yeah, the pawnbroker, or is it
yeah.
the pawnbroker? Yeah, she's gonna take
I
out
think
the
it's just the
pawnbroker.
broker.
The broker, yeah, the villain of the Peggy Carter show.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I don't think that would happen. I think that's more a what if scenario, because it's too convoluted there. It's too messy. Too many moving pieces there. And if you, yeah, like SBub said, incursion inbound, exactly. That would threaten some things for sure. But it's a fun thought process, at least, especially now that we're in this stage of the MCU where we have characters like America Chavez that can actually take us to completely different multiverses. It's crazy where we're at now in the MCU, from where we started, in a cave with a
really
bucket
is.
of scraps.
Oh yeah, it's.
I know it was Hulk, but still, I like that quote. So
It is crazy. Like we're just. Yeah, we've come so far since Disney bought into those movies now and has turned it into
right.
this. So I'm
they
glad
paid
that
to
we
win.
got here.
Literally.
They literally paid to win. Jesus. Well, I'm going to send it to a quick ad break and we'll be right back. And we're back. So we got the one and only Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
I believe it was said that Lucasfilm said that they will never replace him. There's only one Indiana Jones. So how do you feel about that?
I love the way you said that. I feel like you kind of took me on like a river raft there. I didn't know if we were turning left. I didn't know if we were turning right. It was a nice articulate way to say that. But yeah, very, very interesting quote, especially since we were talking about, this episode, our last newscast, talking about Kathleen Kennedy's comments on the recasting of OG characters in the Star Wars universe. And here, Indiana Jones will not be recast for who? Yeah, we don't know exactly who said that specifically. Maybe I'll pull that up. But it's it's weird. It's weird also that we're just getting this another Indiana Jones movie, even though Harrison Ford is just like, love him. I'm not gonna say he's on death's door, but he's not in his prime anymore. He's like injured himself on set. Like it's like I can't believe they're actually like doing this full Indiana
They're
Jones
gonna
movie
kill
with
him.
being-
They're gonna put him in the coffin.
They are gonna kill him. It's gonna be an on-screen death, first ever. Gets him an Oscar. But it's weird because it's one of those things where it's like the Han Solo effect, where it's so hard for me to actually see Harrison Ford like not in that role. But I don't know, like given enough time, like you could probably do your own spin-off of that thing, but it'll also probably be negatively received because it's like, oh, why do this with this character when you could maybe like try a whole new, maybe in like Indiana Jones realm, and maybe have like a side character that kind of becomes like a new character like that. It's funny how like Crystal Skull, they kind of were like hinting that like Shia LaBeouf was gonna be like taking over the mantle, and that just completely fizzled out.
I doubt he's coming back for this.
Yeah, me too. As Bub's comment, I'd say there's a 100% chance that there's flashbacks in Indy 5 with a DH Harrison Ford. You're probably not wrong. I don't really want that. And my initial thoughts when we got this Indiana Jones 5 like announcement, I was super pumped for it, super jazzed on it. I remember that cast, and Travis asked me if I was interested in it. I was totally interested. I love Indiana Jones. Those like original 3 movies are just absolutely chef's kiss. Like I revisit those like fairly often. Not all like every month, but like definitely I'd say within the last 6 months, I've seen all 3 movies. They're just they stand the test of time. They're so classic. They're just really fun adventure tales. So like for me, it has a close place to my heart. And I thought like Crystal Skull was it was a lesser movie than them, but still it was an okay end for Indy. And Harrison Ford was already pretty like much older than he was in the original movies, and now we have this one that's coming out like, when did Crystal Skull come out? Jeez, I'm gonna look that one up.
Oh God, like 2014, I think.
No. Way before that, because I think I was at like a birthday party for it.
Oh shit! Wow, I feel
it?
old.
What is it?
2008.
Yeah, 2008 exactly.
Before Avatar.
Dude, 2008. I was in like grade 8, I think then, grade 7 maybe,
Me
like
too.
middle school, fresh middle school. So, yeah, that's insane. And now we have this one coming out many moons later. It's just it's hard for me to still like comprehend that this is actually happening, especially with him like getting injured on set like that. But
he seems so old in Crystal Skull, like so frail and old just in that, and now
yeah,
we're a full decade later. Christ,
more so. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but getting back to the question at hand, or not even necessarily a question at hand, the comment of hand is like Indiana Jones will not be recast going forward. I still feel like there's value in the name Indiana Jones. Like even if it's like, do you think it's weird if they do like an animated Indiana Jones series? Personally, I don't think so, like at all. I think that could be gold. You don't need Harrison Ford's voice. And it's just like a fun cartoon tale of just, this archaeologist that's just going on these adventures. Like I think there's actually some really good value in that. So I don't want to be like word for word pulling from this supposed quote of Indiana Jones will not be recasted, but it's like technically they could do that. Technically in 15 years, like they could recast, even though I don't personally think that would happen, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? As Bub said, it'll be 15 years by the time the movie releases. Yeah. God.
Damn.
In memoriam. That'll be the start of the movie. R.I.P.
I think an animated series would be actually pretty cool. When you mentioned
Yeah.
that, I think that'd be a very cool way to carry it on a little bit in a way that brings in like the new generation in as well. So, especially with the animation they can do now with how they closed out the Clone Wars and they do in the Bad Batch. Oh, it's just beautiful animation. So that would definitely put me excited.
Yeah, and then you can just keep like that name going and like relevant. Because I don't know, like if they never recast him, like does that name Indiana Jones just like eventually die out? I guess so. Everything kind of will, but still, it's because like it came out in the 70s, right? Like the first one, it came out like right around the time of Star Wars, I think, or like
Very close.
at least Empire Strikes Back. So
1981, I guess, was it?
okay, but like for me watching those films, like they hold up, like they don't feel dated at all. Like they're really top quality movies, and I feel like I would be a little bit torn if the series just eventually dies out. So I would hope that it evolved in that sense, like I said, possibly doing an animated series or anything like that, really. So
Yeah.
but yeah, don't really have anything else to add on that subject matter other than, do we ever see this movie? I think we will have to, especially if it kills Harrison Ford.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, yeah. Hopefully he doesn't kill him. This is supposed to be like an Indiana Jones. I know this is not side quest, but a game too. So I mean, they're definitely just like trying
I
to
remember hearing
pump
that.
out Indiana Jones like all around. So it's cool, cool
Yeah.
stuff.
Other
We
movie news.
have in other movie news, we have the one and only Margot Robbie.
I knew you were gonna say it like that.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself.
There's the Ron Burgundy in you.
Margot Robbie is going to be popping off in a new Ocean's 11 prequel. This one, I believe, is set in the 60s, which is very spicy. I like that.
Yeah, so I was reading into this article earlier. What's your thoughts on Oceans, the Oceans movie? Have you seen them? Do you like them?
What was the latest one with Sandra Bullock? I can't remember.
Ocean's
that
8.
One.
It
Ocean's
was like
8.
the
I watched
all-female
that
cast.
one.
I believe Sandra Bullock was like Danny's sister or something like that.
I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time in the theater. I actually have only seen one of the original ones, but I haven't seen all of them. So
Really?
I don't have I
Okay.
haven't seen all of them. I don't have a huge familiarity with the Ocean's franchise, but that last one definitely was enough to get me excited and go back and watch at least one of them, because I hadn't seen any until I watched Ocean's 8. So this definitely intrigues me, especially the time period too. I like that idea.
Yeah, it could be a possible. I don't know. It's possible retrospective in the future. I love those movies so much. My dad showed them to me when I was younger, and I didn't really like. It's the type of movie when it has like really interesting comedy for like the dialogue. Because like they'll be saying something like really quick and like soft, but it'll be like a humor moment, but like no one's really laughing, but it's kind of like a sarcastic type humor. And as like a young kid, it kind of just went over my head. But I was really in it for just like the heist aspect of, you have this team that's just pulling off these heists, and I thought that was so fun to see on screen, just like their master plan coming to just coming to fruition. So I really like those movies. Seen them all. Like I used to just do like marathons of those movies when I was younger. Like I really like those movies. So I was very pumped for Ocean's 8. I was really happy that it was actually really good. I really quite enjoyed it. The whole female cast was really good, really charming. And yeah, like I'm really pumped to actually hear this news. Not only huge fan of Margot Robbie, Queen of the DC, like she's just absolutely phenomenal. She's actually producing it as well. She'll be starting and a producer for the movie Ocean's 11. I don't think it'll be called that. It'll be something different, I would imagine, because it is a prequel to Ocean's 11, the first one. But yeah, I agree with you on the time period. That's very interesting. I hope they do like I don't know. I hope they tackle just, what's the best way to phrase this? Like 60s in America, absolutely terrible time for like social injustice issues and stuff like that. I hope that actually has something to play. Just for, I don't even know. Like maybe, I don't even want to pitch something because I'm just gonna sound like an absolute idiot here. But just I hope they utilize the time period very well, and I'm very excited to see like the costume designs and the outfits, and I really hope they hit home on that. Okay, S-Bubs, it's in Europe in the 60s. Okay, I was completely wrong when I read that article. Thank you for clarifying that. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit different, but still 60s. That was actually like same time frame as Last Night in Soho is. So there you go. I kind of have an idea of what that'll be like, and some nice neon lights. That's really exciting. So I'm super jazzed. I hope it has the same feel, because I think Ocean's 8 did a really good job at having that feel that the original 3 movies did have, of just like the soundtrack was killer, very like fast-paced movie, which is I don't even know if it's the best way to describe it, but like that's the way I feel about those movies. It feels like it's going like a really smooth pace, but like it's kind of fast. I don't know. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I'm sorry. But anyways, I'm super pumped for this. I love Margot, and I'm so excited to see what that team puts out. And again, it's just I'm so excited to have this series keep going on, because it easily could have died out after that third movie. Ocean's 8 was a surprise, and unlike like the all female Ghostbusters, like it actually really hit home, and they did a really good job with it. So.
I suppose movie ends by revealing that she's Danny's mother.
Hey man, that's not even out of the realm of possibilities technically,
It's
because
not, no.
yeah, because he would have been like George Clooney's age, so he would have been probably born around that time. So that's very likely actually. So he's got a hot mama.
It's all connected for sure.
It's all connected, yeah. Snyder Cut was the blueprint for Ocean.
Snyder Cut was the blueprint. I don't have anything else to add on Ocean's prequel. I think that's all our news.
Damn, look at that.
Yeah, looking at
Any
it.
fake news topics you want to just make up on the spot? Really get the clicks.
Fake news.
Kathleen Kennedy, red eyes.
We're gonna get Prey 2 announced at the D23 Expo coming in September.
It's like a full like. It's like a 3-minute teaser trailer for Prey 2. Meanwhile, we got a 55-second like teaser trailer for the first.
Oh, fudge. What about you? You got any fake news?
I don't think so. I think most of the things I said tonight was possibly fake news because I was talking to my ass. No, I'm kidding. No, super fun times. Yeah, no, I always love our 2-man cast. It's always entertaining, and I think I'm losing my voice, so I think this is probably a good time to wrap it up.
We did a lot of talking. We've been talking since 5 o'clock, so a good fucking 4.5 hours. Jesus.
Hell yes. That's what we do.
Yes.
Content. Actually, I super apologize, S-Bubs. We actually missed a Patreon comment from S-Bubs. He was asking thoughts on the Daredevil reboot continuation for Disney Plus, and then thoughts on how Echo will lead into it. Super big apologies for that. We
I didn't
definitely
even
missed
see
that
this
one.
question. I thought it was the Star Wars question.
I think it was added in a little bit later in the day, so when we initially checked the notes, it wasn't in there yet. But so yeah, we kind of missed the Daredevil thing. I had actually looked at it. I'm like, yeah, I got to remember bringing that up. So definitely my fault there, S-Bubs. But yeah, Taylor, quick thoughts.
Repeat the question, please.
What are your thoughts on the Daredevil reboot / continuation for Disney Plus? Which I guess we kind of already talked about, but what we missed was our thoughts on how Echo, character that was introduced in Hawkeye, will lead into it, because supposedly she'll be in there.
It makes sense to have her in there because his ties with Fisk and her connections there too. So,
do you think it's possible that because she's what would you call her, like her alignment, like at the end of Hawkeye? She's kind of neutral, kind of like she's a good character with like positive intentions, but in like shitty situations. Obviously there's the big reveal that like she like Fisk killed her, what was it, her dad or something, and then her possible love interest in the series was hiding that from her. I definitely think you're gonna have like a oh my gosh, I didn't even think about this, but like having her interact with Daredevil, especially if she is like she's deaf, and then you have Daredevil who's supposed to be blind. Like, how would they actually supposed to interact with each other? That's not me trying to be like an asshole or anything like that. Oh yeah, I guess so. I mean, how Daredevil being in the Echo show will lead into a show. Okay. My gosh, sorry, S-Bubs, just slipping at the wheel here. Yeah, so I really think it's going to be something like Daredevil is going to be obviously looking into Fisk, his big villain from the Daredevil show, and then obviously he's going to be crossing paths with Echo. Maybe it'll lead to a nice badass fight between those two, but then once again they're going to find that they're kind of on the same side, common ground, so probably be something like that. And then it's going to be a fun team up actually. Echo is the type of character which I thought she was interesting enough for her introduction in Hawkeye, but I definitely think there's more layers to that onion that'll be fun to unravel and just explore more of her character. Very unique power. So yeah, I'm excited to see those two interacting.
I'm excited too. Like, definitely, I think again the connection's there, and it'll be a cool way to kind of dive more into the street fighting, crime fighting kind of realm. That's not the super high expensive superheroes, but just the street tier. I had a point I was gonna make and I can't remember it. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I think she was a cool character, and she's a great way that's just gonna. She is a great character in a way that will expand this area a little bit more and bring in some more of those characters. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a little tough for me to like think of a specific outcome from the Echo show that'll be like, oh, Daredevil's just gonna go on his own path, like
Exactly.
But again, you have Fisk in there, like that's gonna be obviously a big threat that'll probably transcend the Echo show. Like I don't think he's gonna be killed off in the Echo. I hope not, because Kingpin's just such a big threat in the Marvel universe. Not necessarily the MCU yet, but definitely in the Marvel universe, he's been a big. Not an end game Thanos level threat, but definitely on the crime, the streets of New York type element. So I think it'll be that character that kind of transcends the show, which would tie them all together. But we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for the comment or question, S-Bubs. Big apologies for missing that initially.
Oh, well, I think that does it then. We can close out this episode. What is this episode number? This is
480.
480. Ooh, that's nice. It's going to be nice when we hit 500. That's a clean halfway to 1,000.
That is a clean. And then that's halfway to 2,000.
That's halfway to 2,000, yeah.
That's
and
halfway
almost
to
a quarter
4,000.
of 10,000. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I guess we'll be back at some point. I mean, unless we get canceled, but that's
check out our
unlikely.
Halo review. You got a Men review coming out this weekend. Tons of content.
It's gonna be good, and then we'll be back for Obi-Wan next week. It's gonna be just snazzy. I can't wait. It's gonna be a
Next
good week
week already. Oh my goodness, this month is flying, man. This whole year has been going crazy.
Going too crazy. But yeah, thanks again everyone in the chat for tuning in, stopping by, and we'll see you in the search bar.
Peace.